What is up, everyone? This is the final video or final episode of the Hellcat swapped S10. So where we left off, we were getting ready to do the firewall, which we mocked up, then we transferred it to some sheet metal, and finally tacked it all in place. We installed the engine and then made sure that nothing was rubbing, nothing was hitting. And now that we removed the engine once again, we're gonna go ahead and grind this down, and we're gonna get ready to do some welding. So now that we got it all welded up, we ended up giving it one final grind, and we're gonna put some primer on it. We're using rusty metal primer on this firewall, followed by some seam sealer, and we use the tape to just get cleaner lines. Now all that's left is to dash it with a bit of satin black on the firewall. Meanwhile, we went ahead and did the same to the frame and installed our upper tubular speedway arms with extended ball joints 1.5 inches. Now all that was left to do was to stick the Hellcat motor and transmission back into its final resting place. We have mocked everything up so we know everything fits perfectly. Now that that's all in, guys, the next thing we're going to address is the steering issue. And we went ahead and just purchased this U-joints. We got this TRZ motor sports kit that we had already modified previously. So we've gone ahead and marked our column exactly where we want our cut. Make sure to wear safety goggles, guys, or some kind of safety glasses when you're doing any kind of this grinding or cutting. So we went ahead, and now that that's cut, we presented it and it fits in place. We got our collar on. Now the only thing that's left to do is to cut our steering rod. So we've gone ahead and cut that. Put our Del rim bushing in. We're going to put it in place. We also got ourselves a brand new Grant steering wheel with a TRZ horn button and a strange quick disconnect, which is going to be making getting in and out of the car super easy. And just like that, we got it done. And it's looking great. Followed up by the radiator. We had to buy a correct radiator that had the correct inlet and outlet for this swap. It's a universal radiator with some universal dual electric fans. So we had to do some modifications to it. The radiator support was not cooperating, so we went ahead and had to trim a bit, about 1 inch off the radiator support to make the radiator sit and give us as much room and clearance as possible. So now that we've gone ahead and cut that, we only got one thing left to do, which is trim right around the water neck. We got to trim around the radiator cap for some clearance. And we're going to follow that up with masking out the radiator support and basically giving it a fresh coat of paint with satin black. So now that that's all painted, there's only one thing left to do. We have to modify the radiator shroud and fans a bit. So I've gone ahead and put my hole saw, and we're trying to make this look as clean and smooth as possible. So now that we've gone ahead and done that, you can see, guys, it fits almost like factory, like a glove. Everything works. And the only thing left to do is to bolt it on down and mount it on the car. So now that we got it on the car and we see that we have plenty of clearance in front of the thermostat, water neck, radiator, you name it, we got plenty of clearance. We're gonna have to fab up some radiator hoses. So we went to our local O'Reilly and got some. And with a little massaging, a little cutting, we made them work. So you can see, guys, that everything is looking great. It's all tight, but hey, it works. Plenty of clearance, just enough to get the job done. No issues with the belts or anything like that. So we should be good to go. So once we took care of that, we followed it up by starting our fuel system. So we went ahead and got our fuel pressure regulator from Red Horse. We're going to install it right there on the factory firewall. We got our low dollar motorsport sensor. For our fuel pressure, we got this little fitting adapter from Evil Energy to make it work. We also had to purchase an adapter because we're using the factory fuel rails. I mean, we're trying to be as stock as possible. We got our fuel lines from Evil Energy. We ordered those on Amazon. They're PTFE, so if we want to run E85 later on, we can. We got a MagnaFuel 750 Pro tuner that's rated for plenty of horsepower, so our application will work just fine with it, followed up with a JEGS 100 micron filter. We got our fuel lines already crimped and ready to go. We're gonna go ahead and install them. So as you can see, guys, the filter's in, the pump is in, and our fuel system is complete. We followed that up by trying to fit this oil cooler, factory oil cooler, in the S10. We found a location for it that we think that will work just fine. So we set it there in place, and that's probably exactly where she's gonna sit. So we tried multiple oil filters in the factory oil cooler adapter, but that wasn't working. It was hitting the steering linkage. So we had to figure out what we were going to do in order to make this work. So we went online and we found a 90-degree oil adapter that will fit our car and basically clear all the linkage. So after removing a couple bolts and installing a couple, we had it all done. We had our oil cooler lines on, our oil cooler adapter, our oil cooler filter, everything was on, and that was done. We also had to order a 1-wire alternator for the setup, also this mini starter. But before we could install the alternator, we had to trim the frame a bit to fit the bolts. We followed that up by using the factory bracket for our accelerator pedal in order to be able to mount our Hellcat pedal. We had to buy this little block in order for us to have vacuum, because this motor does not come with any kind of vacuum ports. We also had to get a new crank sensor because the crank sensor that came with the car did not match the Holley crank sensor. Holley gave us a part number, so we got the correct one and installed it. We also did our intercooler lines. We ran 3/4 lines all the way to the back. We mounted our intercooler in the bed of the truck. Now we had our buddy Mike from Backyard Shenanigans create us this 3D printed SR10 logo emblem, and we found a perfect place for it, right on the grill. Fits like a glove. So back up in the bed, we got our Mitsubishi radiator that we're gonna be running with a custom fan shroud, and we got our inner chiller pump back there as well. Now we need to do a little bit of wiring inside, but then that'll be it. So here's our fuse box and our fuse panel that we built from scratch with Amazon parts. Here is our black heart hooker headers that we had our buddy Charles weld these V-bands to it just to make the ease of removing the exhaust. Now we were pretty much set up. We had our fuel tanks in, we had our fan shroud, our radiator in the bed, we had our intercooler pump all plumbed out and ready to go. We also had installed the Holley completely. We had put our dash back in, made everything work. We had our push start button, everything was in place, switch panel just to feed everything we had. So all that was left to do, guys, basically at this point was just put some fuel in it and then add our oil. And we were ready to try to turn this thing on and check for any kind of leaks. So now that I noticed that we have no leaks, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to try to fire this baby up. Now we tried multiple times to fire it up, and it seems to be that the starter is not catching. And sure enough, when I called J&W Transmission, they basically broke to me the news that on some of these models with their adapter kits, we need to shave or trim the face of the starter. But at this point with this build, I'm not surprised. We've jumped a bunch of hurdles, and this little hurdle is not gonna be the last one. So we called our local machine shop and they said, bring the starter on by. We dropped it off at the machine shop. They said about a week or so to machine it. Got it pretty backed up, but hey, they could do it, and that's the good thing. So cost me about 120 bucks, but that Hellcat's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. So we're headed to the machine shop. They said our starter's ready, and hopefully that'll be the last piece to this puzzle. Can't wait to get there and see. Hopefully we end up starting this truck up. So here we have our machine starter, and we're gonna get ready to head back home. It's gonna be the first time we fire this baby up. We had our buddy Mike send us over a startup tune, and that's what we put into the Holley, and we're gonna see if she fires up. So we cut it off, guys, because I realized immediately after a few seconds of it being on that the truck was not getting oil pressure. And we tested a couple things, checked a couple things, and obviously we have a problem. And guess what? The motor had to just come right back out. So now that I got the motor on the stand, I'm gonna go ahead and load it up, and I'm gonna take it to my buddy Mike's Sinister Performance Club, and he's gonna take a look at it and see if we can figure out what's wrong with this engine.
What do we got under here?
We got a surprise, bro.
Surprise!
What we got? Taking off. Shit. What the hell is that noise? What the hell is that?
Sucking from here.
Rain. We got bubbling. You're cooking. What is that, bro? Yeah, that's the one that I'm telling you had like a little line down there, but it didn't look like a scratch. But then I don't know. I can't be the judge of that. But definitely, I can see that that's where the material looks like it was coming from those lanes for sure.
It's definitely worn.
Worn it on one side.
Like this looks fresh. The middle looks fresh.
And sure enough, guys, this was a piece of work. I guess this motor had gotten hurt at some point in time, and the gentleman who sold me, he said he didn't have any kind of recollection, but guess what? We're gonna need a new motor because obviously, you know, this crank is no good, motor's damaged. You can see all of this. The oil pump was non-existent basically, and that's why we weren't getting any kind of oil pressure. Yeah, leave it right there, because I'm gonna, dude. Wow. And we got lucky enough, and my buddy Mike from Sinister Performance had a refreshed Hellcat engine that he was selling. So I hate to have to go through this route, but guess what, man? I mean, everything happens for a reason. So we ended up working out a deal with Mike, and we ended up getting this refreshed engine. So I'm gonna load it up and take it home. We dropped it in, and guys, here we have it. She's running good. We got oil pressure. Let's see if we could take it out. Just go around the block or try to do a little pass. I really want to get into it, but baby steps right now. Baby steps, pretty soon. Well, guys, there you have it, the first ever Hellcat swapped S10. Stay tuned for more videos as we take this truck to the track and hopefully begin to do some hard tire racing sooner than later. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.